Did you know there's no real way to really kind of pack a dry bag? Okay, we lied. Today we're going to be exploring an essential topic for all paddleboarders, and that's how to keep your gear dry when you're out on the water. We're talking about dry bags, and in this video I'm going to give you some amazing tips on how to properly store your equipment and use multiple bags to make sure that your equipment stays safe, secure and dry. So let's seize the day and let's get started. First, let's talk about the different types and sizes of dry bag. Now, dry bags come in various shapes and sizes. For example, they come in sizes down to about 1 liter, which are suitable for your phone, your wallet, your keys, all the way up to great big 65 liter, even 100 liter bags, which can carry so much more equipment. Now, some dry bags do come where you have a clear window in them, some without. The clear window does allow for you to be able to see what is inside very quickly. Some dry bags are designed to be like a backpack or a tote bag, for example. There are dry bags that you can also wear around your waist, like my overboard bag here. And there are also special containers for things like your phone, your wallet, so that you can wear it around your neck without having to worry about it getting wet. Now, choosing the right bag depends on what you're going to be doing and how long you're going to be going out on the water for. Pro tip, take more than you need. Now, let's go over how to properly use a dry bag. First of all, get your dry bag and put your items inside of it. Now, make sure to leave a little bit of room at the top and squeeze out any excess air. Now, what you're going to want to do is fold this rim over 3 times. So there's 1, there's 2, making sure to get rid of any creases in the folds as you go, and 3. Now fold your bag over, clip it together, and there you have it. Your stuff is now secure and safe from the water. Packing a dry bag effectively is key. Now, logic would normally probably dictate that you put the bulkier, heavier items towards the bottom of the bag and your lighter, smaller objects towards the top. Now, that would normally give you proper weight distribution. And if you're taking clothing, to save a little bit of space, one thing to recommend is to roll your clothing up, not anything like I did in this bag here. And that's where this thinking is slightly flawed. There's actually a slightly better way to do this, and we're going to go over that with you today. However, right now, if I were to look into this bag trying to look for something, I might not be able to find it because the stuff that I don't need is in front of the stuff that I do. There's no logical order to what's in this bag right now. Now just think, if I needed something in an emergency, like my waterproof medical kit, it would take me a while to find this, and that could be minutes or seconds that are vital. Instead, what we recommend is using multiple dry bags to store all of your different equipment. So let's practice this. Now, before you head out on the water, or even just start throwing stuff into your dry bags, what I do recommend is put together a little checklist. Keep that checklist for future days. Something similar to the checklist that we have right here. Now, the reason why I recommend this is so that you don't forget something that you're going to really need when you get down on the water. There's nothing worse than taking your board and all of your equipment all the way out to find out that you don't have your fin, and that so now your board can't get any track in that water, and you basically just spend all day floating around in circles. Now, that list might be short, but what I do recommend is one list for short paddles and another list for a multiple day trip. Okay, so let's begin with our clothing. Now, I'm actually going to be putting all of my clothing in this 20 liter Cedar Summit dry bag, this blue one, and I'll go over why I use these different colors later on. But first of all, let's start. We're actually going to begin with our seasonal clothing. Now, do remember, don't forget to take warm clothes as well. Now, the reason why you're going to be doing this is if you fall in, your core temperature can really drop very quickly and things can take a sudden turn for the worst. Now, I'm going to be putting my seasonal clothing, so my shorts, t-shirt, into the dry bag first. So starting with my shorts, followed by a change of underwear and socks. And then my t-shirt, or in this case it's actually a rash vest. Next will be my warmer pants. Again, followed by another pair of underwear and socks. And my hoodie or sweater, whichever you're most comfortable with. Lastly though, you are going to want to grab yourself a pair of gloves and a hat and put that on the top. And I don't have it right here, but normally I would be putting my towel on the top of here as well. That way when I do reach the coast, everything that I have is kind of in order. Now, let's talk about why did I do it in this order? Why on earth would I put my clothing like this? Now, the reason why I do this is I actually want to make sure that should I fall in the water, all of my warm gear is right available, right at hand. So hat, gloves, to make sure that my core temperature doesn't drop down. Okay, so that clothing is done. Now, as I was saying, the reason why I do it in that order, in reverse order, is so that when I need to open this bag, I got my warm gear first, should I need it. Now, if I don't need that, and I reach the beach and everything's fine, and all I want is just more shorts and t-shirt because the stuff I got on just got a little bit damp, I can take out my my warmer clothing and get the stuff at the bottom. But should you need it, you want to get your stuff that's more important right at the front so you can access that straight away without having to fish through and try and find everything. Okay, so next, in a new dry bag, this is actually going to be another Cedar Summit. This bag is actually a 35-liter bag. Of course, the yellow with the clear window. And in this is going to be my camping gear. Now, we're going to start with my sleeping bag. And we are going to pack this in reverse order as well. Now, again, the reason for this is to make sure that everything that you need is in order of when you'll need it. So first we have the sleeping bag. I'm just going to move this around a little bit to make sure that it's properly using up the right amount of space. There we go. I've also got my floor mat, so that way when I lay on in my hammock or in my tent, I'm not going to feel uncomfortable. Next would be either your tent or, if you're like me, a hammock. So I've got my hammock here, but in addition to that, I also have got my fly net and my bug net. My fly net to make myself waterproof and stop the elements from hitting me. I've got my bug net, and I've also got my strap suspension system. So of course, again, in order of how we're going to use it, bug net would go in first, followed by my rain tarp, my hammock, and my straps. Again, we're going to squeeze out any additional air. I did go back and actually take out some of the extra air out of my last bag to make sure it was compact enough. This can go a little bit more, there we go. And we're going to turn this over again 3 times to make sure you've got a nice seal. Do it up, and again, your camping gear is now done. Okay, and now we're going to put away our cooking gear. Now, do please take some trash bags and put those in the bottom of your bag as well, so that way you can make sure you are following the leave no trace policy, which of course reserves and saves our coastline and nature for future generations. So we're going to start with our utensils. Again, starting with the pieces that we're going to need least. We're going to take our plates. Next, your fuel. Ways in which to light fuel. Now this is a ferrous rod, so a nice easy way to get that burner going. Then of course your stove itself, along with the stand for your stove. And any pots or pans that you need. Now I'm going to be going out for just a short trip, so I'm only going to be taking my stove, so I won't need this bigger pot. Again, as you saw, always in reverse order. It's going to get quite a common theme for you, so just learn it and live by it. Okay, so now we've got our cooking gear packed. We're ready to move on. Finally, One last bag, which is going to contain all of our food, water, and snacks to basically get us through however long we're going to be out. Now do remember, pack a little bit more than you think you'll need. Sometimes your blood sugar does go down a little bit fast and you need something to obviously give you a little bit of extra energy. Or in some cases you do need additional food should the weather turn bad and you get trapped where you're at and you can't return home. So just take a little bit of extra just in case. Now, another handy little tip is to also, when you pack this bag, is to use waterproof markers or even zip ties with labels on them so that you can label what is in each of these bags. Now, I did it slightly different. Now, as you saw, I used different colors of bags. So I know as soon as I open this bag, what color bag I'm looking for as soon as I get there. Now, before I actually seal this bag up properly, one thing just to obviously, mention that I recommend is have an extra fin. Put that right at the top, should you lose your fin. In addition, you're going to want your flashlight. Again, if you reach the beach and the sun has already started to set, there's nothing worse than looking through a bag that you just can't see what's in there. And when you get your camping gear out, you want to be able to see what you're doing, so don't forget your headlight or torch. And finally, safety equipment like your first aid bag, emergency bivvy, an additional whistle, and of course don't forget some batteries for your headlight, so that way you've got enough power to get you through the entire trip. Now when it comes to securing your packs onto your board, don't forget to use the bungees, or if you've got a cargo net, to make sure that it's nice and secure and isn't going to go anywhere when you're out on the water, especially if it's choppy waters as well. Now, what I do recommend is, of course, this pack, if you have the ability, would go towards the back of your board. Any food, your water and stuff like that would go under the bungees towards the front of your board. Why is that? Again, when you need some snacks or you need some water, you don't want to have to be trying to turn around in your board to try and find that. You want it right in front of you, easy access just to get straight out. If you don't have the ability to put this towards the front, towards the back of your board, then you are going to have to put it towards the front along with your food as well. The only thing is, again, because your board is going to be very heavy at the front, you are going to have to stand a lot further back on that board just to raise the nose up and make sure that you're a little bit cleaner in the water. So don't forget the essentials. And don't forget, small dry bags like this one here are fantastic for being able to take your phone out on the water and make sure that it keeps it safe. So you just open the bag and your phone goes in, lock it up, if you can actually find the way to do that. There we go. Now your phone is nice, safe and secure. You can actually use these while out in the water as well, so you can actually open them up so you can still use your phone while it's in this bag. Now this lanyard can of course be attached to things like my PDF, or I can just wear it around my neck. By using dry bags and packing them efficiently, you're actually going to be able to enjoy your paddleboarding a lot more. The reason for that is, of course, you're going to be able to know that should you ever need anything, everything is there. You're never going to have to go looking for it. Your investment in your gear is safe. And for these dry bags, it's just such a small investment in looking after everything that you take out in the water. Especially myself, where I'm taking out recording equipment, cameras, microphones, things like that. And I don't want it to get wet. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you found these tips helpful, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future paddleboarding tips and tricks. In addition, please drop a comment below on anything you would love to be able to see or have me explain for future videos. Thank you for watching, and whether by sand or by sea, as I mentioned earlier, get out and seize the day.